What is going on, Locker Room Faithful? I know it's been a little while, but to be honest, I needed the time away. Needed time to take a deep breath, needed a time to relax. I've been traveling every single weekend. I've been working 15-hour days just about every week. It has been crazy, but nonetheless, the Locker Room is here. Locker Room Faithful, I've missed you. I hope you're doing well. Man. Feels good to be back on the mic with the Locker Room. Now, before we can get started, I'd love for you to follow TLR Podcast 615. That is TLR Podcast 615 on social media, TikTok, Instagram. We're getting back on it. Make sure you're following TLR Podcast 615 so you can stay up to date with everything I've got going on. Now, let's talk a little bit about the NBA Finals. So, I didn't watch a whole lot of the NBA Finals, but I did watch the NBA Finals off and on, okay? Mainly I was following Boston because I really wanted to see them beat Kevin Durant in the first round, which they did. Then I really wanted to see Luka Doncic and see how far he could get this year, and didn't disappoint, beat the Phoenix Suns. And then I guess I sat down and I watched the NBA Finals games themselves. Well, Golden State prevails. They win their fourth championship in 8 years. Stephen Curry finally gets his much deserved, much eluded Finals MVP, unanimous Finals MVP at that. And the Golden State Warriors are champions yet again. The greatest dynasty since the 96 Bulls, I would say. I think they're better than the San Antonio Spurs dynasty. Like, this team, 4 championships, 8 years, is filled with championship pedigree. It's got a Hall of Fame coach. It's got a Hall of Fame in Hall of Famer in Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, like just Hall of Famers galore. So well done for drafting well, drafting smart, and for Steve Kerr being a great coach. Now, with this championship brings some controversy. A lot of people are starting to slide Stephen Curry all the way up into the top 10. Some people are putting Steph Curry all the way up. I've seen him as high as 8. I'm here to say, on my first day back, Steph Curry's not a top 10 player of all time. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So I found myself after this championship really kind of arguing with people about Steph Curry's legacy. Because what we like to do as sports fans is we like to make legends where legends are not. All of the sudden, Steph Curry wins this championship and gets that Finals MVP that he's been longing for. And everybody says, well, he's top 10 all time. Well, he's top 10 all time. Let me say this right out the gate. Steph Curry has revolutionized the game of basketball, but that does not count towards his legacy. Players that revolutionize the game are not all of the sudden top 5. Take baseball, for example. Jackie Robinson revolutionized the game. He's not better than Babe Ruth. Players can have an impact on the sport. Players can change and revolutionize the game. That does not then count towards their legacy and put them in a higher ranking. I just don't see how Steph Curry could land in anybody's top 10 right now. Hell, Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be on his heels sooner rather than later. With a healthy Chris Middleton, the Bucks win the championship this year. Boston, they put up a fight against Boston, and he was missing his second best player. And he is an all-star. Chris Middleton is an all-star. But when I'm going through this, in my top 10, you tell me who's better. In my top 10, this is in no particular order. So I don't want to hear anybody go, your top 10's whack. This is in no particular order. These are the 10 greatest players in my mind. LeBron James, Michael Jordan. This is in no order, by the way. Kareem, Magic, Wilt, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Oscar Robinson. I would put KD above Steph Curry. And then probably Steph Curry. He doesn't jump from 16 to 17 on most people's lists, all the way up to 10 because of this championship and because of this Finals MVP. He deserved it. He was Finals MVP hands down. He had games where he didn't play great, but he was their sole scorer. Klay Thompson is a shell of what he used to be. Draymond Green is god-awful. This championship counts towards his legacy. That gives him 2. 2 championships that count towards Steph Curry's legacy. But Jacob, he's won 4. Yeah. Let's name the other 2 championships. Name the player that was on that team. Was Steph Curry the best player? No. Was Steph Curry outshined? Yep. There's 2 times that super teams have been made. And that was the 76ers and the Golden State Warriors. Made literal all-star teams. And that has to be part of Steph Curry's legacy. He wanted it. Steph Curry could have said, no, I do not want Kevin Durant. But instead, Steph Curry said, absolutely, bring me Kevin Durant. And what would have made this conversation null and void is if they would have won 5 to 6 championships with Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant would have stayed. Then you could have been like, yeah, well, he has like 10 championships, so there's not much you can say. Or he has 7 championships, so there's not really much you can say. The fact that Kevin Durant went to Golden State hurt Steph Curry's legacy. Because he was not the best player on that team anymore. He was the Pippen to the Jordan. He was the Irving to the LeBron James. He was the Kobe to the Shaq, or the Shaq to the Kobe, depending on which one you think was more impactful in the game. So if we're going to operate on the assumption that those 2 championships were not really part of his legacy because of the circumstances, Steph Curry has 2 championships that he's earned. I would argue in 2015 that he should have won the Finals MVP in that one. Definitely over Iguodala. Neither one of them should have won it over LeBron James. Oh, I'm sorry. Iguodala shut down LeBron James, and this is what I can't stand about you LeBron James haters. He shut down LeBron James. Oh, he went from, 33 points a game to 31 points a game. Congratulations. Steph Curry should have won the Finals MVP then. But then what happens next year? Steph has an epic meltdown. And people like to say, oh, well, it was because they suspended Draymond Green. No! Game 7, Stephen Curry was bad. The Cavaliers fight all the way back from 3-1. Okay, that's fantastic, amazing, never been done. They tie the series. And Steph Curry was flat bad in Game 7. You see, Steph Curry has moments like this all over his playoff career. All over his playoff resume. And if it matters for LeBron James, then it has to matter for Stephen Curry when we're talking about legacy. If everybody wants to bring up that Bron can never eclipse Jordan because of his 2011 Finals meltdown, then let's talk about all the times that Steph Curry has had meltdowns in the playoffs and in the finals. Because it's littered all over his resume. I know no one wants to talk about Michael Jordan never getting out of the first round until he finally got Hall of Fame pieces around him. Or nobody wants to talk about the end of Michael Jordan's career where he wasn't winning anything. We don't want to talk about any of the blemishes on Jordan's record. That's fine. This isn't about Jordan versus Bron. That's going to be another discussion probably a lot sooner rather than later. Because that subject just fires me up. But if that's the case, if all of these blemishes on people's records matter, why the hell does it not matter that Stephen Curry has blemishes all over his record, yet we excuse it? We forget that and try and put in the back of our mind that KD, who was arguably the best player in the world at the time, went to an already stacked team with 4 Hall of Famers on it and a Hall of Fame coach, and then won the Finals MVPs, not Steph Curry, was the best player in the playoffs, not Steph Curry, and gave Stephen Curry 2 championships that he would no longer have. You cannot tell me, if Kevin Durant goes anywhere else, if he does not go to Golden State, if he goes anywhere else, Kevin Durant, the Golden State Warriors do not win both those championships. People finally figured out Steph Curry in 2016. The Cavaliers finally figured him out. There was no answer for LeBron James and Kyrie Irving if they were going to continue. The Golden State Warriors dynasty was coming to an end. Real quick. And Steph Curry just couldn't do it. He had to go get the arguably best player in the league at the time in Kevin Durant to come save his ass. And Kevin Durant was Finals MVP. Steph Curry rode off of his coattails. Draymond Green likes to say, well, Steph Curry was being double teamed. Okay, Kevin Durant gets triple teamed. That's not an excuse for a superstar. That has to be a part of Steph Curry's legacy. How in the hell can he be top 10 when he had to form a mega super team, which has only happened twice in the NBA, once with the 76ers in the late 80s? Early 80s, I think. I think it was early 80s. And then once with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant in Golden State. Twice in the history of NBA, mega super teams have been formed. Steph Curry was a part of one of those. And got 2 championships out of it. Why does that not matter? And this is my favorite part. People go, well, LeBron James went and joined Dwayne Wade, who A, was already out of his prime. Chris Bosh, who B, was not a center and was made to play a center position. But LeBron James wasn't joining Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen when the Celtics were in the heat of their dynasty just because the Cavaliers lost to them in the first round. That's the difference. Steph Curry was begging Kevin Durant to come to him after he had already won a championship because Steph Curry understood that he could no longer carry a franchise. Never did he, honestly. In the regular season, maybe. But even in the 2015 playoffs, yes, he deserved Finals MVP, but do you realize what a massive part Klay Thompson was, averaged over 24 points a game? Draymond Green was an actual scorer back then, averaging something crazy like 16, 17 points a game at times in the playoffs. That team was amazing around him. Steph Curry's never been asked to shoulder the burden that LeBron James did, which was carry the worst team in the world, in the Cleveland Cavaliers, to playoffs over and over and over. Steph Curry knew he couldn't do it, so he joined Super Forces with Kevin Durant. Wins 2 championships there. So in my mind, he's won 2 championships himself, or without a super team. He's earned the 2015 championship and he earned the 2022 championship. The other 2 championships he did not earn. So I don't understand why we drink the juice and we slide Stephen Curry into the top 10 just because he got a Finals MVP and scored a bunch. Steph Curry has not been great throughout all the playoffs, have not been great through all of the finals. He had to get Kevin Durant there. How is that not a part of his legacy? You can't tell me Steph Curry or LeBron James. Bron. Jordan or Curry? Jordan. Bill Russell. Larry Bird. Kareem. Wilt. Shaquille. Kobe. Tim Duncan. Oscar Robinson. Kevin Durant. Steph Curry. No particular order except for I know the fact that Curry is probably 12. He jumped up 4 or 5 spots from 17 to 12. He jumped up 5 spots. But he is now not a top 10 just because he won this championship. Absolutely not. And I will fight this till the day that I die. Stop drinking the Curry juice. Stop doing what every sports fan does, which is the second somebody wins, all of a sudden they're the best and this and that, and we want to overanalyze and overhype players over and over and over again. All of a sudden, Matthew Stafford wins a Super Bowl. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not better than Patrick Mahomes. Not better than Josh Allen. Not better than Tom Brady. I would argue that he's probably not better than Russell Wilson. Not better than Aaron Rodgers. I would argue probably not better than Lamar Jackson. He's for sure better than Ryan Tannehill. But that's what we do, right? As sports fans, somebody wins and all of a sudden they're top 5, they're top 3. No, they're not. Can we live in some sort of reality where Steph Curry wins another championship, now has 4, but he's still only a top 12 player in the NBA of all time? And Giannis is right on his heels. And quite honestly, Giannis, if his career continues the way that it is right now, he will be better than Kevin Durant, he will be better than Stephen Curry, he will be better than Oscar Robertson, Isaiah Thomas, whoever you want to insert on that 10th spot. I mean, hell, I might even slide KD up there at one point. But if he continues on the way that he is, he'll be a top 10 player of all time and kick both of them back. Steph Curry's not top 10 all time. Stop drinking the juice just because someone has a successful season and a successful year. Okay? All right, let's talk about Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets officially are breaking up, I'm pretty sure. So it was reported earlier today that Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are at a stalemate with contract negotiations. Kyrie Irving wants $5 million max, and the Brooklyn Nets are only willing to give him a 2-year contract, maybe a 3-year contract, if he's lucky. Basically a 2-year contract after he fulfills this year, so I guess 3 in total. Here's the deal. I understand Brooklyn's trepidation, and I feel bad for Brooklyn, but at the same time, they understood what they were getting into when they got into Kyrie Irving. It wasn't like Kyrie Irving didn't have injury problems. It wasn't like Kyrie Irving didn't have teammate and leadership problems. It wasn't like Kyrie Irving wasn't taking sabbaticals whenever he decided to. That was all pre-Brooklyn. Then he comes to Brooklyn and he takes 3 weeks off. He decides he doesn't want to get vaxxed, so he takes 6 months off. So, like, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm searching for a trade. I don't even care if I get pennies back. At this point, you've got to get him out of the building. Kyrie Irving is not good for culture. He's not good for the team. Clearly, there's a bunch of teammates who are still super upset at him. It's not like he's coming back and impacting winning basketball, because he came back and got swept by a couple of 23-year-olds in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Kyrie Irving has to leave Brooklyn. I think he's damaged the situation too much, because here's the deal. If he expects to get a 5-year, $190 million contract, he's not finding it in Brooklyn. And if I'm Kevin Durant, I beg Kyrie, I say, hey, listen, just take the 2 years. That's about all you're worth. I don't know that you're worth a max contract to anybody. The only person that's going to probably give you a max contract is insert terrible team here, or the Orlando Magic. If you become a free agent, well, we'll talk about free agency in a second. Don't want to get ahead of myself. But name one team that you can trade Kyrie Irving to get notable assets back where the other team's going to be happy. Not many places. You see, being in the business of Kyrie Irving is a messy, messy business. Kyrie Irving is an unreliable player. He's an unreliable teammate. He's not a good leader. While he's super gifted offensively, he's terrible defensively. He's a liability in most cases. And I'm not shocked that they've come to a stalemate. I'm not shocked that Kyrie Irving wants $190 million, $250 million. Who knows what he wants? I'm sure it's ungodly, and he wants 5 years max. And I'm not shocked that Brooklyn's trepidation of not wanting to do it. He left them hanging the entire year. This is now the second year. This is the same problem that I had with the Clippers, is everybody crowned the Brooklyn Nets as the best team in the NBA. And I said from the beginning that while Kyrie Irving's in that building, they're not the best team. I would have gotten rid of Kyrie Irving and kept James Harden. While Kyrie Irving is in your building, he's not going to affect winning like you need him to, because you cannot rely on Kyrie Irving to show up Monday through Friday. You can't even expect Kyrie Irving to show up for Monday. I mean, hell, dude just decides, I'm going to take off. He's the only player I know of in recent history, besides Dennis Rodman a little bit, but not even that much, that just decides he's going to take weeks and weeks off, months off. Kyrie Irving is his own coach. He is his own person. I thought he was going to retire, straight up. I think he did worse for his legacy coming back and being swept by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown than if he would have just walked away. At least he would have had some dignity and respect from me. But these games that he plays where sometimes he's going to play, sometimes he's going to show up, he's not going to get vaxxed, he cares about winning, he cares about, but no, you don't. I'm sorry. whatever your stance is on vaccinations, I'm not here to argue that. But if you care so much about winning and you care about impacting the sport, then you make sure that you get vax so you can play home games. That's a sacrifice that you should make if that's your sole purpose. I'm not saying, no, like I said, I'm not saying get vaxxed or don't get vaxxed. I think it's your own prerogative. But you can't tell me I care about winning, or I care about impacting the game, I care about my teammates, I care about my coach, and then you just disappear for 7 months. And you get on social media and you bash the world. You bash this, you bash that. All while your teammates are being left to dry. Left to hang out and dry. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'm not giving them a max contract. I'm saying, hey, we'll give you 2 years, including the $30 million you're guaranteed this year, so 3 years total. You can stay with us. We can really try and pursue this championship. If not, we're going to find a suitor. But the problem is Brooklyn Nets, they're just going to have to cut their losses. There's not a notable suitor out there that is going to want to take Kyrie Irving in a trade. Because Kyrie Irving's already said he's not playing for anybody else but Brooklyn. So he's already put his foot in the ground. So that would be like taking a live grenade in a trade and hoping it doesn't blow up on you before you finish the paperwork. No smart team is going to do it. So what does that mean? That means that Kyrie Irving's going to become a free agent. So Kyrie Irving's going to enter free agency most likely. He's going to test the waters. 3 teams that I think Kyrie Irving could go to and impact. Of course, number 1, reunite back with LeBron in Los Angeles. If the Lakers could somehow make it work, move some assets around, you get Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, that is a recipe for a championship. That is the best thing for Kyrie. That is the best thing for LeBron James. LeBron James is more than willing to take a step back, not shoot as much, not take the burden of bringing the ball up all the time. Let Kyrie do his thing. His point percentage might go down, but LeBron James is one of the only superstars, mega superstars in the history of the game that is willing to step back. Jordan wouldn't, Kobe wouldn't, and that's why what I think speaks to the greatness of LeBron. He knows what it takes and what he needs and what his teammates need from him. If he has to be the best scorer, he can do it. The best defender, he can do it. Best passer, he can do it. That's what makes him so special. That makes the most sense. Walk right back into Los Angeles. It's a big stage. You get your glory. You reunite with LeBron. It's a sweet story. You hug each other again, and you go win another championship and put all this noise behind you. Even if you just go on a 1-year deal, you'll get if you win a championship and you prove yourself, and you go out there and win a championship, you'll get a 5-year max contract from anybody in the league, which you'll probably only fulfill 2 years of that and, retire after that. Makes complete sense. What's scary is if he would have stayed in Boston, that team would be a dynasty. Straight up. That is a dynasty in the making if he was still there. But Kyrie Irving's a fool. Second team that I think Kyrie Irving can make an impact on, the 76ers. Swap. I don't care. Swap back. Take James Harden back. Give us Kyrie Irving. Do something. Work out a 3-way trade. Work out a 3-way trade that sends James Harden and Tobias Harris to the Brooklyn Nets. Or maybe Tobias Harris and insert another maybe Seth Curry's already gone. I don't even know what the package would be. But 3-way trade, send Tobias Harris to Brooklyn. Send James Harden to, Indiana. And somehow get Kyrie Irving to the 76ers. That's a recipe that'll work. Kyrie Irving's an explosive offensive mind. You add him with Joel Embiid, another explosive offensive mind and top 3 player in the NBA, top 4 player in the NBA, when healthy. That's a team that can do some damage. That's a team that scares a lot of people, especially if you have someone that can penetrate like Kyrie Irving. That's the problem that they had with James Harden, is James Harden couldn't get past anybody. So he can't affect the game besides chucking up 3-pointers and passing. Well, that's no good. I can go get, Connaughton or Covington or insert random shooter here if that's what I want. But that's not going to affect winning like a James Harden should. So go get Kyrie Irving. He'll do what James Harden can't, which is be able to penetrate the basketball, get to the rim, open up Joel Embiid, open up the wings, make that offense crazy dynamic. Last but not least, go to Miami. Send Kyle Lowry to the Brooklyn Nets. Send Duncan Robinson to the Brooklyn Nets. You give them a shooter. You give them a point guard. Kyrie Irving goes down to Miami. Miami gets fortified. The Brooklyn Nets get fortified. I think both teams win on that trade. Kyle Lowry fits the scheme of Brooklyn. He will work well with Kevin Durant. He will work well in that offensive system. And Duncan Robinson is a lights-out shooter. So you've got Kevin Durant with nothing but a bunch of weapons around him. Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, pick up another small free agent pickup here or there. That's a very good team. Miami would then get a dynamic point guard that would go alongside Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. They've already got a good squad. Adding someone like, especially in the lifestyle of a Miami, I think that'd be a good personality fit for Kyrie Irving. Meaning that I think he would be happy there. Therefore, I think he would play for Miami. So I think both teams win. They dump off of Kyrie Irving. The Miami Heat give away some key pieces, but they add a Kyrie Irving and hope that he shows up. I think that's a win-win-win for everybody. Those are the three teams that I think Kyrie Irving would impact instantly. What's most likely going to happen, he's going to test free agency. It's going to be the Brooklyn Nets, the New York Knicks, and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Clippers might sneak in there. But I think those are going to be the three front runners for him. I don't think he's going to get a max contract. He's probably going to go on a one-year deal to somebody else, have to prove himself, then get his max contract after that. Those are my thoughts on Kyrie Irving. That is my thoughts on Steph Curry. The new format of the show is we're going to multiple, maybe even 3 shows a week. It's going to be shorter podcast episodes, 30 minutes probably a piece. And we're usually going to have a couple different subjects that we hit. Today was mainly Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, but we'll do, a bunch of different segments. So it's going to be more of a rapid fire, probably 6-7 minutes on each segment. And it's going to be a faster form. It's going to be a lot more content. I've missed you all. I love being back on the sports podcast. I'm super fired up today, if you can't tell. Make sure TLR Podcast 615 that you're a part of that, because that is going to be where we are going to start exploding once again. Hey, can't wait to say this. Once again, everybody, I'm Jacob Courtwright, and this is The Locker Room.